Hello everybody, I am Alarte-Hernández and I am going to present our intervention titled A Pilot Experience Teaching Through Teaching for Understanding and Gamification in Secondary Physical Education. This study has been done together with Morales-Belando and Arias-Estero. Currently, considering the needs of the 21st century students, some voices emphasize that education is outdated. Thus, one of the eternal debates within physical education has always been about which model should be used in their classes. Even though the innumerable benefits of using pedagogical models has already been demonstrated, the majority of the teachers have continued to choose the traditional methodology as instructional units in their classes. However, this traditional methodology is associated with decontextualized learning, lack of motivation, and sport dropout. In contrast, applying pedagogical models in physical education, such as teaching game for understanding and gamification, can promote meaningful learning, high level of motivation, and adherence to physical activity. For this reason, it is essential to propose an appropriate teacher learning process to achieve motivation and adherence in students through positive experience in physical education classes. As a consequence, the aim of the study was to explore whether secondary school students improve their game knowledge, game performance, and increase their motivation after an intervention combining teaching for understanding and gamification. The research was carried out throughout 8 seasons, involving 19 students from 12 to 14 years old and the teacher. The teacher had 1 year of experience as physical education teacher and had never used teaching game for understanding and gamification. Although he had been trained in them for 40 hours on purpose. This is a quality study. The perception of the teacher about the students' game knowledge, game performance, and motivation were collected. These perceptions were obtained through a semi-structured interview at the end of the intervention. For the purpose, the lesson was organized in 5 segments following the diagram of the structure of teaching game for understanding from Morales-Belando and Arias-Estero. In the game 4 and return to game 4, pupils autonomously experiment the modified game 4 where game structure are adapted to the success of the player. As you can see, this is an example. In teaching for understanding and review and closure, they reflect to understand what they did, what they should have done, and why. And in the drills for skills, they learn the technical execution. In addition, it was designed a narrative story about Roman Empire called Discorium, the Great Dish Battle, or in Spanish, Discorium, las grandes batallas del frisbee. It was introduced point, budget, leaderboards, avatar, option challenge, and another elements. The student and the teacher were interviewed at the end of the study. Although all the interviews addressed the same topics, but the focus of the question and the language differed depending if we were talking with the student or the teacher, as you can see. The students began with pre-established questions about game performance, knowledge, and psychosocial variables. For example, we asked the students, what did you know to do during the game? In refer to game performance. In the case for the teacher was, Did you notice any improvement in the students' game performance? Student and teacher data were analyzed separately using open and axial coding. All recorded interviews were transcribed verbatim, coded, and analyzed inductively. Also, we paid special attention to what the students said about their experience in the Teaching Aid for Understanding lesson related with gamification elements. The qualitative findings showed the meaningful learning acquired by the students after the intervention. Concurrently, the fact that the students have to understand the elements of the games that they practice make their learning more contextualized and therefore more meaningful. For example, the teacher commented that they have to boil their own knowledge and help each other continually. Also, the sequence of the segment of the session aimed at progressive learning of the planned technical tactical element. In this way, there was a modified game followed by a reflective segment that allowed learning to be better assimilated and accommodated. For example, a student said, "We learned step by step because everything was interrelated. The question and rules have helped a lot." Also, the teachers' comments were in the same lines. The group reflection after the modified games made it clearly to the students what they had to do and why. Gamification could also contribute to improve meaningful learning, since as the students who correctly performed the technical or tactical had the possibility to help their classmates with their own work through advice and or feedback. Then they got rewards. For example, a student said, "I take a lot of coins helping my teammates when they didn't know how to do it. It was so cool." Related to game performance, the participants shared the importance of understanding game situations to play better. In this case, the teacher used interrogative questions that guide the reflection of the student toward learning and understanding. For example, a student said, "Before I didn't know what to do when I had the ball. I was just running toward the goal. Now, thanks to the teacher's explanation and the teaching for understanding, I know what I have to do and why." Furthermore, the students acknowledged that the rules and modified games helped them understand what they had to do in the game. In this case, in the lesson of cover, if we intercepted a pass and we were defending one by one, we summed 2 points, and that is why we did it, said an student. Regarding the motivation, gamification was very useful. First, the use of points, budget and leaderboard, together with the use of a suggestive narrative, make the students immersed in learning and make an effort to carry out the tasks. For example, a student said, "When we was playing in the last game versus another kingdom, we were so motivated to win and move up the ranking." Another reason to improve motivation could be to favor autonomy and social relationships. In this sense, the Game 4 and Return to Game 4 proposed during the didactic unit were very open to the interpretation of the student. Moreover, solving tactical problems as a team during modified games and group reflection could lead to a great sense of unity among the students. In this case, the teacher thought they talk a lot to each other, telling the teammates where to place themselves. In conclusion, Combining the teaching aid for understanding and gamification elements could have improved game knowledge, game performance, and increased motivation. The qualitative result supported that the combination of the teaching aid for understanding and gamification as a validation that had not been considered previously, it has showed interesting benefit for the students in terms of game knowledge, game performance, and motivation. In this way, both approaches have complemented each other perfectly, having some similarities such as the adaptation of the difficulty based on the needs of the students, the active role that is demanded of the students, or the autonomy that is given to the students during the development of the session. In conclusion, a new door is open to all the teachers who want to work on a content related to game through this approach, with the aim that students acquire technical and tactical elements of games at the same time that they improve their motivation. Thanks for the attention. If you have any questions, you can find us at this email or Twitter.